Halo 2 Anniversary Skull Locations. On the level of the armory, stand right outside the elevator once Johnson gets in it, and just stand there and wait until he says the line, "Would it help if I say please?" It can take quite a while for him to say this, but once it does, if you get into the elevator with him.
Would it help if I said please?
Once you've reached the top, if you look down the tram line, you'll actually see the skull right at the end sitting on a crate at the very far back. So what you want to do is you want to stand in the corner and hold in the weapon pickup button. Once you drive past it on the tram, you'll automatically pick it up. On the level Cairo station, just as you're exiting the armory, if you go to your right, you're going to have to get up to the upper floor just above the armory. To do this, if you go to this middle platform and if you stand on top of the glass, the beams that hold the glass, and then jump your way up. Next you're going to have to jump your way across to these metal girders. Once you do, go all the way across to the right and jump onto this metal platform. The skull's going to be located under this bin. On the level outskirts, right at the very start, if you jump on top of this light just above this door and then jump up again onto this kind of roof area, go straight ahead into this dark corridor and the skull's going to be right at the end. On the level outskirts, right at the very start, you want to jump on top of the light just above this door and then jump onto the roof, turn around and jump up onto this little alley, jump further up onto the roof and follow this along. Once you reach a highway, you're wanting to jump onto a metal banister, jump up onto the next roof, basically just so that you're directly across from Sniper Alley. So I've read a few different bits and pieces about conditions for this skull. The only thing that really matters is that you trigger the spawning of the sniper jackals, and it still seems to be a kind of random chance of whether the skull will spawn or not. So I'm just kind of hovering around here just so that I can get a checkpoint to make it easier in case it doesn't work. All the snipers have been spawned in, so you jump down, run across and jump across these buildings here, kind of like the slums, and you're wanting to go into this building here where there's a sniper. Now you can see that the skull hasn't spawned straight away. I just kind of fight off some of the enemies. I assumed that it wasn't actually going to spawn, and then by chance I looked back again and the skull had actually spawned, so it's worthwhile hanging about for a few seconds just to see if it has appeared. On the level Metropolis, once you reach this big open area with a bunch of snipers and this massive metal arch in the middle, you're wanting to clear out snipers and grenade jump your way up this metal arch, just so that you can get a foothold. Once you start climbing, make sure you climb all the way up the middle of the beam, and once you've reached the end, if you go to your left and walk around the building, the skull's going to be the opposite side of the building. On the level the Arbiter, you'll reach this area where you have to go and find the heretic leader using a bunch of banshees. So if you grab the first banshee going to the right and then head all the way down, you're wanting to kind of head in this general direction. So the next skull is actually going to be located underneath this kind of structure. So if you go kind of to your left and then jump out, it'll have a bunch of grunts dancing around the skull. On the level of the Oracle, you'll reach this kind of holdout point for the heretics and a bunch of flood will be attacking them. The skull's across the other side of the room. To be able to get this, you're going to have to grenade jump up there. Make sure you shoot the window before you grenade jump, and once you're up, you'll find the skull in between all the flood. On the level Delta Halo, you'll reach this big open ruin area. The skull's going to be located to the left hand side of this on top of a roof. So you're wanting to head all the way across and you're going to have to grenade jump up. So if you jump onto this little ledge, jump up past the tree, and here's where you grenade jump. So chuck the grenade right next to the tree, jump up, and you'll find the skull in between two elites. On the level Regret, right after the first gondola ride, you're wanting to grenade jump onto the roof where all the turrets are. Once you're on there, you're wanting to jump onto the next roof using the turret as a kind of platform to jump up. Once you're up there, you're wanting to work your way around the building. The skull's going to be between some elites. On the level Sacred Icon, you'll reach a room with the plasma beam heading through the middle of the room. You're wanting to jump up onto these crates and up onto the upper floor. The skull will be located in the third vent on the right hand side as you're walking along. On the level Quarantine Zone, if you turn all the way around and head back the way you came from the previous level, the skull's going to be located at the very end of this metal structure on the left hand side. On the level Gravemind, once you reach this big open area, you're wanting to go to your right and get onto this metal wall circling the structure. To get up to this, you're going to go to your right and climb up these rocks. Once you reach the top of the rocks, if you go to your right, you'll be able to climb onto the wall, and you want to go to your right again and follow all the way along to the end of the wall. Now there will be a fuel rod grunt at the very end, so keep an eye out for that, but once you reach the very end, if you jump up, the skull's going to be located right up the back. On the level Uprising, after you've reached this kind of armoury area just past the waterfall, if you turn all the way around once you've went through it, the skull's located up the top of this little platform with a light on it. You're going to have to grenade jump up there. On the level High Charity, you'll come to this big door with an energy sword sitting in the middle of the room. What you want to do is carry across through this room like normal by going to the right and going into the elevator, except this time when you're going up the elevator, if you hold in the weapon pickup button, the skull's actually located in the middle of this elevator. On the level of Great Journey, the skull's got to be located at the back of this big structure at the final bit. So what you want to do is you want to head to the left hand side of this and then jump out of your Banshee because there is an invisible wall. You're going to carry on foot, and if you just carry on all the way to the back of the structure, there's actually a kind of metal ramp that connects to the ground. You're wanting to walk all the way up the top of this ramp, and the skull's going to be at the very end of it.